Hello, everybody from around the world. This is Samson coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So hopefully that you either had a great day or you're starting a great day because you deserve it. So, but anyway, today it's my pleasure and honor to be here in this hour by myself to share with you some ideas. And actually, the topic for today it is why is it important? Why is your story important? So today I'm going to share some thoughts and we're going to talk about, of course, how it applies to the business, but also how it applies in life and how it applies to your mindset. So, well, I'm glad all of you are here. Let me go ahead and take a look at who's here though. Okay, let's see. Well, we got people from Vancouver, Malaysia. We got people from Austin, Texas. We got people from Los Angeles, New York. Let me see, Toronto. Welcome, everybody. San Gabriel, Long Beach. Well, people are still logging in. So great to have all of you here today. So, so from Southern California, Rio Grande Valley. Oh, I know where that is. Yes. Oh, wow. Okay, so great to have all of you here from Singapore. There you go. Joanne from Singapore. Grace Tan. Yeah. Okay, welcome everybody. I just look at the list and more people, of course, are logging in. So welcome everybody. So, if you are ready, if you have parked your day outside the door, ready to receive, type a yes in the chat. Yeah. Okay, so we know that you're alive, you're conscious, you're breathing. Okay. Well, like I said, great to have everybody here. 50% of success is showing up. So that's 50%. So all of you here, you want it, you acknowledge it, you acknowledge, your own potential, as a matter of fact. So for me, I'm all about, our own potential, because I believe it is unknown, and it's unknown to all of us out there. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was doing a group training for a group that's all over the U.S. and in Puerto Rico, and we were just talking about that. One thing about your potential, it is unknown for sure, because if we compared to, for example, people have a job, and I know many of you out there have a job. Nothing wrong with that. But the question is, and we should ask ourselves every day, are we living the way we want? Are we doing the things we are meant to do? Are we thriving? Are we passionate? Are we excited about every day? At a job. Okay. So, but also for those of you who had a business, I was a business owner for many years. At the beginning of my business, I was very excited, being in the furniture business, the real estate business, or the auction business. But after a while, it became a grind. It didn't keep my passion going. I did not find a passion in it, right? I mean, it was good dealing with people and all that. And I found little bits here and there, which I enjoyed, but I couldn't see myself doing it for another 20, 30 years. So that's why I decided to change careers. And I guess in a way, for me, we always talk about vision in our business, having a vision and mission and purpose. Well, I'm just like anybody. At the beginning, I just want to be debt free when I joined Jeunesse. I've seen Kim Hui help 25 people become millionaires. I just wasn't one of them, and I didn't take it seriously enough, the type of business it was and how what the potential is. But more importantly, my own potential. I think that was the blockage. So that circles back to, why is your story important? Because it is about who you are. So, within the last 12 years, Jeunesse has changed my life. It's changed my whole mindset, my perspective of how to look at things. When you are out of the mindset of lack, that means not having enough. When you're out of the mindset, your whole perspective change. If you know what I'm talking about, type 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not sure. Look, today we have people from many different level, the areas, occupations, or financial situations in life. So not everybody understand what I say. If you shift your mindset from lack to abundance. So first of all, let me describe my mindset when I was just doing what I was doing for the sake of doing. As in real estate, I started real estate because I studied real estate in college. I graduated with a finance real estate degree, became a real estate broker, opened an office, and I had my dad working for me, and doing that for a few years. And then got into the furniture business, did that for 10 years, made money and lost a lot of money. Learned my lesson, lost everything. And then got into the auction industry. And why didn't I grow? And that's the question for many of you out there. Why aren't you growing your business? Maybe some of you are asking, or how to grow it, right? But if we came from that kind of mindset, which I had, well, it was always about, what is the secret? What am I lacking, right? Well, already that word comes to mind, right? What am I missing here, right? What does it take to succeed? Or is this the right path for me, right? Or well, where do I want to be? I didn't even think about that. I thought when I was in the furniture business, opened my first store. It was a great location on a very busy street, 5,000 square foot furniture stores. And I was just working every day, 7 days a week for 2 years. Where was I going? When I look back, I didn't know. All I thought was maybe I can open one store. If I do it well, I can open another one, and another one, and another one. I did not plan with the end in mind. I planned, it was like step by step. Okay. So now, if you know the difference, planning with the end in mind, and then go, or just going through life step by step, type a 2 in the chat. Okay. Keep engaged. Keep yourself engaged here. Type 2 if you know what I'm talking about. So for me, it was extremely obvious that when I observed how Kim becomes so successful in the first business that I saw her in 2006. In a few years, she was a multi-millionaire. She helped 25 other people become millionaires. And what was the difference? Well, her mindset was different. So we always say, whatever you see this business, whatever you think this business is, you're right. Whatever you think it's not, you're right too. It's all about what you think, right? The same company, the same products, the same compensation plan, different people make different kind of money. So obviously there's something there, right? There's something that most people are missing. And I was one of those when I first started in the industry. So then I realized something when Kim was training about our own story. Where did we come from and where we're going? A reality check of where we are today. Doing what you're doing, doing what we're doing, having certain level of education, having certain amount of financial backing, we are where we are today in our business, right? Same company, same product, same compensation plan. So what is it, right? Well, you know what? A lot of it, well, let's just say all of it, is about the story we tell ourselves. Isn't that interesting, right? The two most powerful words that I have recognized, I've observed, I've heard, I've learned, not because I just heard it out of the blue, but definitely for more than one amazing leader that I have met in life, okay? In life, not in our industry, but in life. The two most powerful words, you know what those are? Do you know what those are? The two most powerful words are I am. I am. No, not I can. It's I am. Now, I guess, good guess, but it's I am. So type I am in the chat. All of you, if you hear what I'm saying, say I am. By saying I am, you are. You become. You are literally that person. When you say that I am ... You are saying it, you are acknowledging yourself as whatever it is, good or bad or ugly, whatever you're going to say after I am. Or maybe if you're very philosophical or spiritual, you could just say, I am. I am who I am, right? So it's a little bit philosophical, but you know what? It is definitely a part of our psyche, our mindset. Okay. So however we think we are, that's how it is. So then if you say, I mean, but it's more than just the word now. Word is power. It has power, it has vibration, it has, it has strength or weakness, however you say the words, right? You can say, I am smart. Or you can say, I am smart. Or you can say, I'm smart. Right? It all different, right? All different meaning, right? So it really depends on how you say it. And why are these two words so important? Because it is your story, that the story that we tell ourselves, that we end up saying that is summarized in I am. Now, how many of you understand what I'm talking about? Type of 3 in the chat. Type of 3. Type of 3. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Or is it too far out there for you? Okay. However you are, however you live your life, that's the story we tell ourselves. So have you ever heard that life is a self-fulfilling prophecy? Have you heard that before? How many of you have heard that before? Yes or no? Type a yes or no in the chat. Life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay? So absolutely, it's about the story we tell ourselves, okay? Now, let me see here. How are we doing? Okay, great. Okay, so the question then, if no, I tell my kids all the time, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. What I always tell my kids, they're, my daughter's almost 7, my son is going to be 9 February. Okay, so I always tell them that smart people ask questions. Okay, so because if we don't ask, we don't know. That's how it is. And there's another saying, we just don't know what we don't know. A lot of times we go through life, we don't know what we don't know. There's so many things we don't know, or we don't even know how to ask or what to ask or how to ask, right? But it comes to mind, we can start by asking ourselves the question, who am I, right? How did I get here, right? Why am I? Why do I do the things I do, right? Ask yourself that, because sometimes we really need to evaluate where we are today. And where we are today, we can then see where we're going to go and compare. And if we really had a chance to get to where we want to be, okay, you got to plan with the end in mind, right? If we really have an opportunity to get there, right? And we can say hypothetical, if that is a hypothetical in your mind, or it's a reality in your mind, and you acknowledge that you will be there. What the question is, what is the process? What is the journey? Okay. But so today we're going to talk about your story and why it's important. Okay. So your story is extremely important. We live the story we tell ourselves. We live the way we think about ourselves, right? And obviously other people, when they observe us, they look at us differently than how we think ourselves. How many of you know what I'm talking about? So your story is extremely important. If you ever go into self-development, there are some programs where they ask you to write your story all over again. Start from scratch and dig very, very deep in every facet of your life. Now, I know some of you out there on this webinar know what I'm talking about, what program that is, or are part of a self-development program that has that. But those classes, those courses would take a whole year to finish, you know? So it's a pretty serious thing. It can be a life changing. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so the how important it is. Well, I found the importance in it. Like I said, when I first got into the industry, I met Kim. For the first 2.5 years in the first business, I saw her with a different mindset than me, and she became a multimillionaire, and I was not. By the time I realized how the business is, I started to understand what it is. I was a little bit too late. We moved on to another platform, right? So when Jeunesse came about, I said, well, you know what? This is my second chance. So whatever it is, I'm going to set my mindset to zero, but I'm going to just go all out. Whatever I need to do, I need to do, because doing your best is very good. But my question is, what if it's not enough? Have you ever thought about that? Some people will tell you, you know what, just do your best. But what if it's not good enough? You know what you need to do then? You got to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. All right. It's beyond the word best. You got to go beyond your best to achieve something you've never achieved before. All right. So at that time, though, coming to the story part, right? So I was 40 years old when we first started Jeunesse, the five of us sitting in Kim's kitchen table, this round table, talking about, okay, so how we're going to start, who's going to position where, what we're going to do, where's our network, what's the product, how we're going to do that. So that was Kim's vision. That was the idea of, we're going to build global, and we're going to create a success. We're going to help a lot of entrepreneurs become successful, whoever's willing, right? So at that time, I was 40 years old, and I was an auctioneer. I dropped all the auction business, all my auction gigs, right? All my auction jobs. So if I quit, then somebody else takes it over. It's very difficult for me to get it back. So I literally burned all my bridges, right? And why I did that? Because I thought, you know what? I was 40 years old, I'm college educated, been a pretty decent sized business owner before, made money, lost money. But maybe at 40 years old, living in a 2-bedroom apartment, really don't have that much money to my name, living from paycheck to paycheck. Maybe whatever I experienced the first 40 years, it didn't matter too much. It didn't really get me where I want to be, or I wish I could be. I wish I still was. When I closed the furniture business, I sold my house, owe people money, lost everything, so had nothing. So I've been there. I actually, in my journey in Jeunesse, and some of you know, after a few months in Jeunesse, my apartment lease was up. I gave it up. I rented a room in a house to live. Can you imagine? Like, I used to have 3 furniture stores and all that, and wow, yeah, moved into a room, apartment. Room in a house, owned by this elderly couple. They're renting 3 of the 4 rooms out in the 3 of the 5 rooms out in their house, and I was like, I got to make some money. I got to make some money. I got to make some money every day, right? It's like, I got to make at least $2,000 a month in Jeunesse to survive at the beginning. So at the time, I knew that when I started Jeunesse, I thought to myself, my story, 40 years old, I'm not where I don't, let me see, I'm not living the way I want to live. That's how maybe that's a way to look at it, right? It's not about the Jeunesse, it's about, each of us individually. So I was thinking, I'm not living the way I want to live. What do I need to change? How I want to live? Okay, so I did plan with the end in mind, and network marketing came to me. When I lost all my money in the furniture business, I did spend some time in self-development, and many of you heard the story of how I just sat down one day and just thought of what kind of life I wanted. And from there, I always had that in the back of my mind, right? Of course, many of you heard me articulate it. I want a happy life, right? Under the happiness title, right? Just 3 things: people, music, and freedom, right? And then everything sprouts from there, right? So I knew very simply that's the direction I want to go. Well, did I have it? No, not at that time, right? Because I figured freedom will cost money. How do you get in? How do you get in something where you can really enjoy being with other people? And think about that. If you were at your job, are you working with people you like or you don't like? Or is your boss good to you or not? Right? Is that where you want to be for the next 10, 20, 30 years? That was my thinking about my life. So at that time, I just thought I recognized that for the first 40 years, whatever I learned, whatever I did, it did not get me where I want to be, or I feel like I need to be, or I deserve to be. Let's just put it that way. Because many of you, whatever, however you are, most, let's just put like, let's just say like 90, more than 90% of your mindset, you learn when you're very young, subconsciously. It's in your subconscious now. You learn from the age 0 to about age 8. Okay, that's what the psychologists say. Okay, and you know what? Every day we have probably anywhere between 60 to 80,000 thoughts in our head. You know, more than 95% of the thoughts that you have are the same thoughts that you had yesterday. So the conclusion is what? Your mindset, right? Is pretty much that. More than 90% of it, you learn when you were young. It's in your subconscious, right? And every day you think the same thoughts pretty much. And that's why personal change, to change a mindset is not that easy, right? Now, I know, let me see. Yeah, we have quite a few people on here. Let me see. I just want to see if, yeah. Well, okay. So I just want to double check something, because sometimes in our business, we have partners who are psychologists or social workers. They understand even more than me. I was just looking at if they were here, okay? But the fact is that if we want to change our situation, we have to change the mindset. And you change your story, and the story starts with your thoughts. How to change your story, how to create new story. Well, if you ever gone to, for example, a Tony Robbins seminar or watch it on Netflix or YouTube, you can change your state, right? If those of you who attended the expo online last year with Tony Robbins, that was it, right? Or the year before, I forgot which year now. I think it was last year. So look, you can change your state. You can change your future. Your state is a manifestation of your mindset, how you think, where you are, your energy, your attitude is a manifestation of your thoughts, of where you are, or who you think you are. Let's just put it that way. So for those of you who love to read, there's a book called Power versus Force by Dr. David R. Hawkins. So he talks about your state of existence. Today is a little deeper talk, okay? Because I want to, hope to get many of you to understand how you are made up of, okay? What you're made of, and how you can be, and where you and how you can change. Okay, so the power versus force. Dr. David R. Hawking, he's very famous. He's council president. He was a psychologist. He managed hospitals. He's extremely well known. And he talked about the state that we live in. Do you want to force your way through life? Or do you want to power your way through life? There's a difference, okay? There is a big difference, power versus force. And this is maybe something that can help you evaluate your own story and rewrite it. And moving forward, what story you want to create in your life. Because you can change any second, any minute. It's a matter of you're aware of it and being present, etc. Okay? Now, so this book, Power versus Force, I did the audiobook, and it was narrated by Dr. Hawkins. And it was a grind. It was a lot of information. But one thing it helped me to recognize is, well, yeah, you know what? Just a simple idea of power versus force. Do we need to force our way through life? How do we force our way? And, look, some of you might be living that way. It's like when you are in the mindset of lack. I don't have enough. I'm afraid of what other people, how other people look at me. Maybe I've done stuff, I'm so shy, or maybe I've done stuff in the past that cannot see the light of day. I live in a life of shame. So how do you have to live through life? You have to really, like, every day, you don't look forward to getting out of bed. Maybe you get beat up by, life situation, a loss, at the job, or maybe by family, or how other people look at you. I know how it is. Okay. So, and you have to kind of you got to force your way every day. You got to force yourself to do the things you have to do, not the things you like to do, but just have to do. Right. So you're forced to do that because you have no choice. You have no freedom. You feel like you have to force everything. That's what I'm talking about by force living, living life using just force rather than using power. Now, what does that mean? What it mean? What did Dr. Hawkins mean by using power? Power your way through life. Well, okay. So how to power through life is a state of being. Okay. So he lists, if you look up online, okay, you know what, maybe I can do that now with you. I didn't really prepare. I didn't even think to do that, but I think it's a great way to explain it to you. Okay, so there are, here we are. Okay, here we are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. This is a great way, and you're welcome to take screenshots, okay? All right, here we are. Okay, power versus force. Now I'm going to blow it up a little bit for those of you on a cell phone. Oops, a little bit much. Okay, so his idea is that we live through life at different levels or different state of beings, okay? And he assigned points to each of those things. And there's emotions that are attached to it. And then as a result, we look at life, a life view in a certain way. Now, this is a little bit deep as a lot of philosophy and psychological understanding. A lot of people, they live through life through shame. So their emotion all the time, they feel humiliated, right? It's very low energy, right? I mean, it's very low energy. And how you live it and your life view, life is just miserable. You see at the bottom, right? And then obviously the different levels you can live at is like guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, and pride. Now, notice there's a big line in the middle, right? And then above that, there's different. Now, and it's higher energy. So as you see here, hold on a second. Let me just make that a little bit. Here we go. Well, a little bit smaller. Okay, you see at the bottom, you kind of have to force it, right? Or have to force your way through life in a way. And actually, we literally have to use a lot of energy psychologically to get through life every day. If we exist on the lower levels, okay? Now, do you know people who are angry, right? Do you know people who are always wanting something? They're never satisfied, right? And do you know people who live in fear? They're afraid of everything and everybody, you know? And that's I don't think that's a good state of being. What do you guys think? Right? Now, there's a line in the middle, and you notice that above that, you have courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. Now, and you look at the different emotions that attach to those, plus the life view that you have here, okay? So why is this so important? in your life to create your story? Well, because yeah, it's important you recognize where you come from and how you got here. It's important where you want to go and how you want to live. So, and in our business and in life, you make the choice. So I made the choice to live life differently, in happiness, right? In joy, in love, in peace. That's where I want to go. I want to increase my vibration, my influence, to live in that state where I can feel good about living. So if you can imagine the word thrive, right? Thrive. Thriving means growing. It brings the idea of really living life, going all out, right? Enjoying, thriving, and enjoying what we're doing. That's what comes to me. Okay. So, well, if you live in those states, if you live in the upper levels, how would you feel? Think about it. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of you on the line. I don't know where you are on this scale, but think about if you had lived in guilt or shame and how bad that would be. It's always about blaming and humiliation, right? You look at all those words, so negative. I don't even want to talk about it. But minimum, if you live life with courage, uh, Winston Churchill said courage is what all other characteristics, character building states come from. That's what he said, courage. So if you have courage, if you're not afraid, sorry, let's go back. Courage is not about being not afraid. Courage is about overcoming the fear. Yeah. So let's make it real. You have to overcome the fear. Like if you want to call people, you're afraid, right? But when you force yourself to do it, you have the courage, and it's all heart-based, right? Why you have courage? Where does that come from? So where does the power to overcome come from? Well, what you want out of it, right? What motivates you, right? So that's why we always talk about very deeply motivation. What is your motivation? What do you want? What is your why? What is your story, right? So if you have the courage, that's where all positive characteristics, character building things come from, is courage. Okay. And if you accept the world as it is, be neutral, well, you can just be happy at a certain level and just trust what's happening, right? Whatever it is going to happen. You can trust it, right? And then we can go with willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. Now, all these things are good. These words, the state of existence, the way you deal with things in life can help you power through life, right? You don't have to struggle through it, but power through it. All right. So now, if this helps you so far, you can type number 1 in the chat if it helps you. Okay. Maybe just start to bring a little bit clarity. All right. So why is your story important? So last night I was, on the other training with the other team, some of you are on here. We were talking about overcoming objections, right? Use feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. This is what I found to answer. I don't have time. I don't have money. Is this legal? Whatever question is, well, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. This is what I found. Now, if you're going to start by overcoming objection using I know how you feel, okay? Well, think about deeply with empathy. Really empathize with how the other person feels to verbalize then your own understanding of how you feel, because you had the same feeling before about not having enough time, about not having enough money, etc. So why you're in the business, right? That's what people want to know. So when you know your story of why you're in the business, where you come from, you have more to talk about than just the very superficial, oh, it's a good deal, cheap price. That takes no skill and that takes no warmth, human interaction. You know what I'm saying? So the real good marketers, well, we know that facts tell, story sells. Story, that means stories are the things that gets the people's attention, and more importantly, your story or other people's story, right? And if you were clear of and the more you are clear of what your story is, the more you can empathize with the other person, and also the more you can teach others to share their story and to find their story, to articulate their story. Now it's very interesting because I found that last night when I was doing a training, that you know we were doing some role playing of edification, or we're doing some ABC stuff, like how to edify. So, well, the quote unquote guest was a restaurant owner, and of course is a business owner. And I just thought, you know what? When I heard how the team members tried to role play, I realized that, you know what, you do have to have a certain understanding of maybe how a restaurant business run, or the idea of a physical restaurant or a store. What are the processes, what are the expenses, what are the key points to running that business? There is that, and you can get to their pain a lot faster if you understand them, their business. So a lot of times, of course, we teach everybody to ask the question, right? So you can understand them a little bit more. But so when you use I feel, felt, thought, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And it's not necessarily you were in the restaurant business before, but maybe you understood the pain of being stuck in a tough business or a tough job where you just need a change. So when you articulate that feeling with the other person, they recognize that you sympathize and empathize with them. And that's how you keep continuously build the trust, to build the rapport, to see, well, you know what? That's why I'm on this platform. That's why I'm here. So that's why your story is so important in our business in terms of, what you do with it in the marketing. The more you recognize yourself, the more you understand yourself, the more you can empathize with other people and really empathize with them. I mean, now today, look, today we can do it kind of unfiltered, right? So I would say, so let me tell you a story. For example, because of the pandemic, we're all locked down, or we've been locked down in one country or another, wherever we are, right? So, well, I have a cousin, and he's not in the business, but he works for the government. All right, I'm not going to tell you which country, okay? But he works for the government. So even during the lockdown, he gets paid, right? He just works from home, right? So compared to people who are business owners or entrepreneurs, or people who are in the non-essential jobs, right? Well, if we don't work, we don't get paid. So there's a huge disparity how my cousin look at the lockdown and look at the pandemic versus somebody like me, because I understand what we need to do to survive, the average person, right? But hey, he just get paid no matter what. So yeah, he can sit there and criticize other people because he has a government job, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? That is how he looked at life. And in a sense, that's how he also influenced other people around him, right? Maybe his daughter, his wife, other family member, etc. But that's not the reality of the majority of the people, right? Because most people don't work for the government. A percentage of the people do, but most people don't, right? So the reality is different, right? So then in a sense, he has a different reality than me or most of the people around the world. And that's the story we tell ourselves, right? Isn't it? And that's a whole life view of how we see what life is and how it is for us, right? So going back to the business, facts tell, stories sell. So your story is so important, and it does take time to literally, find yourself. And no, I remember many years ago, Kim said, you know what? Why she's so passionate about the industry? Because it is an industry where we can find ourselves and get paid for it, right? Understand ourselves, right? Self-discovery. So that's what it is. But actually, that's why a lot of entrepreneurs have that passion, because they know they're doing things every day things that they want to do, things that they love to do. It's not because they have to do, because they love it. That's the difference, right? So there's a dichotomy of how we look at things, right? So I've mentioned that many times. So well, so how you tell your story here is very important. For sure, you need to write it all down and then fine tune it. One of my favorite tools is the thesaurus. Another thing that I do is get feedback from other people, right? How my story is. So at the beginning, we go out to do presentation, or we go do testimony. And at the beginning, Kim coached us on how to redefine our stories. So, and it's all about, what I realized is something, and hope that it can help all of you out there, is that a lot of time it's not about the hype, it's not about the number, it's not about how good or bad you are, but the more authentic you are, the more powerful you are, because authenticity is power. Because you're not afraid to reveal who you truly are. And that's like peeling the onion, right? That's a whole other subject. But that's the power. So the more open and the more vulnerable you are, the more people can identify with you. Not to get their sympathy, but to get their empathy, right? Because they can recognize the same thing in themselves, because we're all mirrored to each other, right? So this is a very powerful exercise in creating your story. So very simple, write who you are, like what's your occupation, how you live, and then what you see in the business, or what you do, and then what you saw in the business, why you come into the platform, and then what you want to get out of it. It's very simple right there. It's a very simple idea. But around that, to create a powerful story, is to write it down. Really, you don't need to tell your whole life story, but you really need to write down your story. So you see it on paper, and it's this exercise that can build a better story, because you open the thesaurus, you see what words can match up, or what adjectives you can add to create the feeling you want to get across. And that's the thing, a lot of people, they tell a story with facts, but a story, what I found, the most powerful ones are the ones that are authentic and with feeling. So you do need to kind of dig a little bit, because the feeling comes across not only in your tone of voice, it starts with the words and the thoughts, and then the tone of voice, but also your body language, right? So that's how it's done. You got to write down clearly your background, right? What you do, where you come from, but very short. And then why you're in this platform, right? What's your reason, right? Why you're here. So you can talk about the pain of where you are now, what's lacking from your job or for your business, what you've been searching for, and then that's why you're here. You're looking for something. You decide, you saw something here. What did you see? Write that down, and then how you doing, or where you're going with this. So that's your story for the business. But going back to the very beginning, and we have a few more minutes, okay, is that how you do in this business is all about your mindset. Right? I came to that conclusion many years ago, as some of you have heard, where, George Bush, the second George Bush, was the president of the United States. People say he's not the smartest guy. Maybe he's a B student, but how did he become president, right? Well, obviously it's not just him, but it is him, because he's the president. So there is something about him that helped him, that really, help him become president, versus somebody like Bill Clinton, right? Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar, one of the smartest people in Oxford, right? Or Cambridge, wherever that Rhodes Scholarship came from, right? And of course, people had a lot of expectation for him. So, why are both kind of people are able to become president, which is pretty much of the United States, which is pretty much the most powerful person in the world. I mean, in pretty much, right? So it is about the story we tell ourselves of who we are. It starts with I am, and that defines your mindset. So what I suggest to create your story is write down all the write down adjectives of who you're going to say I am. It could be a noun or adjective. I am ... Write it down. Write those words down. Who you think you are, right? And then write down who you want to be. Write down those words too. And those are some of the words actually you can use in your story. So those adjectives or nouns like I am positive, I'm an optimist, I'm a fighter, I am ... Okay. So then when you look at all those words, what really resonates with you? Take time to think about that. Not only just brush it over, is what triggers a feeling from you. I am, like, if you're I am fearful, or what triggers that? And what are you thinking when you see that word? What's your thought process? Write it down. Then you start to discover really more in depth of who you are, and why go through this exercise? And this is something that, look, wherever you are, some of you are still locked down with the world, some of you are not, some of you are kind of working from home, maybe you can carve out some time, but this is time for yourself, not for me, not for Janess, but for you. Okay. So when you can define yourself more, it makes that vision, that purpose becomes more clear for you. That's how it is. The people who build the business the fastest are the people that have the most clarity where they are, where they want to go, and what is their story, right? There's some people who don't even bother with any of that and just do, and that's fine too. And through that process over time, I am ... at the end, whatever words that they are, they would change and evolve, because and over time that becomes the real you. All right. So today it's a different kind of training about why is your story important. Yeah, if you have a good story, you can tell it. Definitely for the business, doing testimonials, share with them your product story, your business story, your life story. Keep it short and concise in the business. But before you can come up with a good one, over time, it does take some work, and you can evolve that story, okay? Facts tell, stories sell. What do? We do something called marketing. We open markets, we inspire other people, right? Capture people's attention. That's what we do. We share with them the information. Is it for them to not? Is it for them or not? That's how we build a business. How simple can it be? Right? It is very simple. The result all depends on you, right? So look, wherever you are in the business today is the place you're meant to be. Whatever obstacles you went through or are overcoming or are facing, well, it takes that overcoming. It takes that courage. It takes that acceptance. It takes that willpower, willingness. It takes that love, maybe. It takes that reasoning, that understanding to overcome it, to overcome those obstacles. And as a result, the process that you overcome it, it becomes your repertoire of lessons that you will teach to other people to help them overcome down the line. Okay, so today, this is my talk for today. I hope that it gets the point across. It hopes to get you thinking at least, or maybe it's like a call to action. Let's get your story down, and you're gonna tell that to other people over and over and over again. You found something amazing, well, how are they doing? What is their story? And what is your story? How do you empathize? Do they want to do the same thing as you? Do they want to get something more out of life? Do they want to thrive versus being in pain, being in a straitjacket in life? Do they want to provide more? Do they want to have more? Do they want to influence more? Do they want to pay it forward to other people? Whatever it is, whatever the reason, all of you come into this platform for different reasons. Some very basic, some very simple. It is, but it is something powerful. It is something where you can influence people. You can help others around the world. It is something unbelievable. It's never been done like this before. So it is more than just Oh, company has a promotion, cheap product, buy. It's what I talk about today has nothing to do with that, but rather your own leadership. And it takes leadership to build this business. So, well, this concludes my talk for today. Profound. Okay, Daisy says profound, but it is what it is because, and Daisy just commented, one of the people I thought of when I was, think about what to talk about today was you, Daisy, because you have told me your story and many of your stories over the last few years. And it's funny that you comment here, but it is for people just like you. We are who we say we are, starting with the two most powerful words in the universe, I am. So you define yourself, you find yourself. And that I pray will empower all of you to achieve what you're meant to achieve. Okay. So, you look up power versus force, even just the picture that I just showed you, and take a look at it and think about it. And if you like, get into the book. So, all right, Hillary, thank you. Thank you so much. Sandra, thank you so much. But it is what it is. Your story is how you define yourself, is how you lived it. Tony, I remember many years ago, Tony Robbins says, we are the summations of all the decisions we made in our life. That's where you are. That's how you got to where you are. That's how you got to where you are sitting, where you are today, watching me talk to you. All the decisions, the summation of all the decisions you made. So what is the difference between then the stories that you tell yourself, the story that you created, because that story comes from the decisions you make in your life. And those decisions based on what? How you think and how you act, right? So it all is a full circle. So all of you have an amazing day. Have a great night. Work on your story. Think about your life. And yes, it's going to help you a lot in this business simply just by having the empathy and sympathy to relate to others. And that's what that's why people call this kind of business a people business. Anytime we can say sell, cheap on the product, right? But anybody can do that. And that only gets you so far. So to excel, it's a people business. So hopefully this will kind of inspire you to think about how you can use your story to inspire and influence others for the better. Okay. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Look forward to seeing you the next time. We have our regular Sunday webinar. So make sure you get some guests on there. That's the purpose of the opportunity webinar for you. And it's about opportunity, not necessarily product. So if anything about product, you make sure they understand ahead of time and then come in to look at the business, right? With the right intention, not just throw them on there. But why? You want to understand more about the business? Sunday or Monday morning in Asia. God bless all of you again. Stay healthy, stay safe. We'll see you at the next event. Take care now. Bye-bye.
If you see something for yourself, get back to the person who shared this video with you. And don't forget to subscribe to the official USGS YouTube channel to receive future videos.